A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers, whose contribution was not to our size, but to our spirit, not to our political beliefs, but to our insight.
I was born in Hungary. They call a little town Pasto. When I was only 13 years old, we get in a German camp. The commandant say right away, you Jews, none of you gonna get out alive. I was liberated by the 11th Armored Division. This was something you never forget. So I made a promise. If Lord help me, if I ever go to America, I'm gonna become a G.I. Joe.
My parents passed away and they sent me down to Versailles, Kentucky to a Methodist home. So I was raised with 125 brothers. If you jumped on one, you had to whip about 25 of us. It was because of brotherhood.
When the Korean War broke out, my cousin I lived with, he came to my room and he said, let's take a drive over to Kalamazoo. And I said, for what? He said, we're gonna look into the Marines. I said, I'll ride along, but I'm not gonna join the Marines. Well, about 3 hours later, I was in the Marines.
I was number 3 of a family of 4 brothers. My 2 older brothers served in World War II, and my younger brother was in Korea at the same time I was. So we all did our time, and we're glad to do it.
My dad is from the old country, Mexico. He raised me up saying, son, you be a man. You don't be afraid to die if it takes it. Of course, Dad wasn't up in the front lines being shot at when he told me that. I remember the morning it happened. It was a beautiful day, a rare, beautiful day.
The snow came, the temperature dropped to 40 below zero, faces covered with ice, food frozen, water frozen. Even though I had 800 Marines out in that condition, there was not one complaint, one beef out of them.
We went up the side of this hill, and standing out the hill, and the commanding officer turned to me and said, I want you to go down and take charge of this hill. And I said, okay, sir, I'll do that.
We had to fight our way through bunkers, trenches, lines all the way up. And by the time we got up to a assaulting position, we were down to about 35 men. So I got up to the company commander, and his whole face was frozen blood. I was surprised he could even talk. And I said, well, I'll take you men up for you, Captain. And he said, how you gonna do it? I said, I'm going straight ahead shooting, Captain. I'll take you men with me. So we jumped up, started shooting, and went straight into him.
There was a lot of confusion. It seemed like we couldn't tell what was going on up on the hill. You get casualties or men, whether they were alive or not, getting them back out of the front line.
We were flying above the mountains with nothing unusual when Jesse Ground called out that he was losing power and he thought he was going to have to crash land his airplane. When the plane hit the ground, Jesse waved to us to let us know that he had survived, but he didn't get out of the airplane. So I made a decision to make a wheels-up landing, crash close enough to his airplane, and pull him out of the cockpit.
I thought the end of the world had come. I climbed up there looking over the trench line, and there was one of my BAR men fighting with 6 Chinese, and he had it by the butt with a tripod stuck out, swinging at him. Had bandoliers hanging all over him. I said, why in the world are you not using that BAR right? It's a lot better if you shoot that thing rather than try to use it as a club. He said, I can't. That's carbine ammunition. Nobody had told us about the new 10-round clip of carbine ammunition. And I started checking my dead, and all of them had carbine ammunition.
They started rolling grenades down the hill between us. And I was on the point, and they was rolling right on through my legs. They was getting the guys in behind me. And one exploded in front of me and knocked me down.
I heard the grenade land. I didn't know where it was exactly, but I pushed my medical kit towards it, and it blew it apart. The next thing you know, I couldn't see, and I've got 5 wounded guys, and I have no idea how we're going to get them out of there.
One of my men put a bandage around my neck. I don't know who he was to this day. I wished I knew who he was and if he is still alive. He saved my life by putting that bandage around my neck.
We were attacking artillery, mortars, heavy weapons fire. And I was losing kids I didn't know their name.
I had artillery shrapnel in my head, and I think no doctor was going to repair me, so I might as well go out all the way.
So I told the members of my squad to withdraw, and I covered their withdrawal. And when it died down, I thought I had it made, but a voice in English said to get up, you're my prisoner.
In the front line, it is tough, but you are still a free man. When you become captured, you become a nothing. You're no more a human being. I already had the experience in a German camp, so I feed them. Handyman, doctor, nurse, friend. I was there when they need me. You can't imagine how happy you were to get out of there. The first thing I did was look up to that American flag. Boy, what a great relief, or a great, wonderful feeling to see that American flag again. That's all you wanted to do was sit up there and look at it.
I've learned what it represents. That alone is what makes you feel so humble. So many the fellows that are worth deserve never came home to any kind of recognition.
But this medal's not mine. It belongs to those kids who never grew up to be grandfathers. I just hold it in trust.
You know, you read about this thing when you're a kid, but you don't ever, in your wildest dreams, suspect that any time in your lifetime that you would ever be thought of to receive this award. You know, I'm in awe of my fellow recipients. To me, that is the greatest honor, to be associated with this group.
When I got my award, my table mates were Commando Kelly, Pappy Boynton, and Eddie Rickenbacker from the First World War. This small group of people is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that accentuates in my own mind how the passage of time becomes very, very important, and the time that you have left is very, very important.
This is a representation of the very best that America has to offer. We are given the tremendous honor and privilege of representing the thousands upon thousands of men and women who have served our country, who did wonderful, marvelous, heroic things and never got recognized. And we carry this for them. It's a tremendous responsibility, it's a tremendous honor to do this.
That's what I say. This is not just mine. It's 100 men that I had too. And if they all hadn't gone, I'd be dead. I'm alive today because I had them damn good men. Huh? I get emotional about it. We're in a free country. And why are we? Because a lot of people, black, white, yellow, gave their lives so that you and I can live free. Huh? Simple as that.
It is the best country in the world, and I'm part of it now. You know, I don't have to worry about the Gestapo or SS gonna knock on my door tonight. You understand what this means? I have shalom, peace. People die for it.